This season on Kerr Fatou.
Who is engaging them too?
No.
Fatou.
I am not at liberty to say yes or no.
Oli.
For us, every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us, with a location proximity to active markets with a liberal air transportation policy. That daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.
Stewart & Co. Solicitors, a legal excellence firm in London that can help you with all aspects of your legal work. If you are looking at immigrating to the United Kingdom, Stewart & Co. can help you to set up business, buy houses in the UK, and will deal with all your legal works from start to finish.
For all your general immigration work, we can help you with that as well. If you're applying for any form of visa, whether student visas, settlement visas, marriage visas, or a child wanting to come to the United Kingdom to settle with the family, we can help you to achieve your goals.
Stewart & Co. Solicitors, a legal excellence firm specializing in conveyancing, immigration, litigation, family law, personal injury, licensing, no win, no fee. Contact us today at www.sk-solicitors.com.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
Can't do small or big projects with the same dedication and commitment as we do. With a reputation as the leading printing company in the country, when it comes to major projects and innovative solutions, we always deliver in high quality, thus receiving the trust and confidence of our clients. From the moment your order is placed to when it is delivered, we believe in exceeding expectations from the sales manager to the production team, the account manager, and the person delivering your material. We have state-of-the-art equipment and a highly experienced and competent workforce that enables us to deliver top quality work on time. At reasonable prices, we provide our clients with multiple solutions right from conceptualizing, designing, printing, binding, publishing, and distribution. For all your printing requirements, we are strategically located at the Sankumsila Highway, the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation. We print what you desire.
Every young Gambian dreams of a university degree. He wants a good paying job after graduation, a pretty wife, and ultimately own a dream home.
What if I can't afford my desired dream home?
And that is why you need to visit Universal Properties.
We specialize in customer satisfaction. We listen to every of our clients' needs when we show the properties to our clients. Before you know it, you hear the client saying,
I like this house.
This is the room that cuts my heart.
And most of the time, they cling to the door, never to let go. Most clients want to close the deal right there. And that is why we always have their contracts in the trunk of our cars. We work at our client's pace. No haggle, no hassle.
We're waiting for you at our office in Caraba Avenue here in the Gambia.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Sam pap deena déedéet daf ma yónni woon ma suyal ko bii waaw yàlla def mu gagné jàppoon $100,000 la gagné.
La ilaha illallah.
te yow xam nga ne sama papa dafa amee cardiaque.
yow da ngaa dof yow xam nga luy $100,000.
xam naa ko kay man naa lu ñu bëggoon nga dimbali ci.
demal na nga def damaa toog rek sama xel mi ne ci yow xam nga bërki démb li daal si benn waay fee. waaw ma romb ko rek. bërki démb. waaw muy yuuxu di tëb. ma ni kii lu ko dal ñu ne ma daal ci loto gaming Gambie bi la laal. jar na ko laal na ci lu di. waaw
nga dafa am quarté am kente am tiercé waaw maanaam nag tey jii. waaw kente bi la. te jackpot bee passé. xaalis
kente mooy lan.
kente maanaam mooy juróomi fas yi.
waaw beneen bi.
am na quarté. mooy ñeenti fas yi. ak tiercé. tey nag xaalis bi daa gën a yokk. lu tax ndax jackpot bële dañ kaa tegaat ci bii. maanaam juróomi fas yi boo ko jàppee ci ordre mooy risque nga désordre bi sax day fay. bu ma ko jàppoon
yooyu moom noonu la demee da ngay dem rek jouer.
am na lu ma yaakaar
man gis naa seen kii yi keesku yu ndaw yi ci biir dëkk bi. mais daal dama ni lii moom amul xaalis da nga ciy def sa xaalis. da
jël wecce rek sànni ko fa xool jëmbat la. la ilaha illallah. yow li nga wax ni tey ji bu yàlla dogaloon ma gañe ko lu mu gàtt
fi mu toll nii boo gañe woon $100,000.
waaw lu may def.
waaw nooy def.
xam nga yow sama xarit nga.
waaw
damay fexe nga rey say noonu.
ci nan.
lu mu gàtt $50,000.
waay.
Thierno woowee ambulance.
lan la lu xew ni
sa baay gay dee na.
sama papa gay lu ko rey.
$100,000 dalaa ne ko boo ma gañaloon si li ma la yónni dama ko koy jox mu daanu ni sama kaw.
man waxuma ko mu waxee woon la ko noonu yow la ko waroon informé ndax yow yaa ko gañe. yaa gañe jàppoon.
fay lempo warugal la si képp koo xam ne doomi réew mi nga ak ñu fi dëkk bu fekkee ne ci at mi sa koom-koom weesu na $2,000 mbete weer bu nekk di nga am lu tollu si $2,000 lempo si la nguur gi di sukkandiku ngir liggéey yokkute réew mi GRA mooy banxaas bu nguuri Gambia sas ngir mu fayeku lépp luy lempo ci biir réew mi ba tax na GRA di yëgal faykati lempo yi ne warugal la pour ñu fay lu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment maanaam bépp contrat bu waay joxe te si biir réew mi lañu toog kon xaalis si contrat bi ngeen nangotoo war nga cee wàññi ci xayma téeméer bu nekk fukka bu fekkee ne contrat bi dëkkut ci biir réew mi bu boobaa di nga war a wàññi téeméer bu nekk fukk ak juróom lii mooy lempo bu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment lii mooy lempo bi nga xam ne yow mi joxe contract warugal la nga wëlbatiku dem fay ko ci maakaani GRA tax office bu la gën a jege mbete ci banque yi GRA jagleel pour fay lempo war ngaa jéebal lempo bi si diiri fukki fan ak juróom gannaaw bi nga wàññee ci xaalis si contract bi amul benn contracteur bu ñu teggil fay lempo bi xanaa mu fekk ne nguuri Gambia ñoo ko jéegale boole si projet yi nga xam ne mbootaay ndimbali ñoo koy dépense GRA di fayeku lempo ngir yokkute réew mi.
Hello, welcome to the Kerr Fatou show. My name is Dumasar Kamara and I'm here with colleagues from the University of the Gambia, Professor Per Gomez and Student Union President Ibrahima El Damfa.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
Just to give a background to why we're here to have this conversation is that since earlier this year, the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, have declared COVID-19, otherwise known as the coronavirus, a worldwide pandemic. Countries across the globe has put in place certain mechanisms, including a nationwide lockdown. And one of the initial responses that the Gambia has employed was to lock down all schools within the country, or to close all of them down. And as a result of this, educational institutions, and no less the University of the Gambia, has responded in order to ensure that education continues and there is no stop put to it. Their response was to provide alternative means of teaching. In this sense, we're talking about an online class. We know that a committee has been set up, including yourself, who is a major player in that, and the Student Union President also is playing a huge part in that. But before we get into that, we would like to know who is Professor Gomez. I would have to say, first of all, he is my boss, he is my dean, he is the dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, but you can tell us what your area of specialization is.
Well, thank you very much, Nima, and thank you also, Kerr Fatou, for having us. It's a pleasure coming here for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do watch from background to some extent, and thank you also for the quality of work that you're doing. With different stations, let me put it that way. And wherever you go, you perform to the best of your ability, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. Well, the Prof. Gomez, I'm the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences. I'm a professor of comparative literature. My area of concentration is Gambian studies, specifically, because my thesis was on Gambian literature. I was the first PhD thesis 2005 on that, and I have written several books and peer-reviewed publications in relation to these areas. So now I'm heading the School of Arts and Sciences. Prior to that, for 10 years now as Dean, and prior to that I worked at the Gambia College also for many years. So now heading this task force as the chair of this online committee. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, and I must also commend you for your dynamism. If we know anything about the UTG and people who are really putting in place infrastructure and putting in place processes that could help the students, your name would always come on top, and I'm very lucky. For those of you who still don't know that I am still a staff at UTG, I get the question, are you with Kerr Fatou now? No, I'm here temporarily. I am a staff of UTG, and I'm very happy to host on this platform colleagues and my boss here and our student leader here. Ibrahim, if you would briefly tell us.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, it will have to be brief. My name is Ibrahim El Damfa, the president of the University of the Gambia Student Union. Of course, I'm a student, major in human resource management. It's an honor to join you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So it's been 2 weeks, is it? It's been 2 weeks since we have started the online classes. And I must say, as a beneficiary of this process, I was very happy. And I think I shared my assessment of the whole system when I first launched my online classes. And for me, it went really smoothly. And we must commend you for a great job that you're doing. Because one of the silver linings of the COVID-19 is for us to be creative, to find ways to respond to our collective problems. So I am very happy that the university is able to think outside of the box, to join colleagues around the globe to find alternative means to bring education to students even as we deal with the pandemic. So can you tell us the background of how this whole thing came about? Where has it begun?
Well, thank you very much once again. What happened is that, we had this coronavirus, so, like any other country, Gambia also had its share, and University of the Gambia was also asked to shut down. So we complied, and for a while, and then later decided that we need to look at the whole issue again, because if we are not careful, some of our students who are supposed to graduate in June are likely to stay for a whole year, and then that's a lot, because some of them are sponsoring themselves, some are finding support here and there, but in very difficult situations. So having to spend a whole year waiting and so on and so forth, that's going to be terrible. And then also even the university as a whole, the government and all stakeholders spending a lot of resources just for that year to be lost like that. So we wanted to save the year, wanted to save the whole process, but they also wanted to have something of quality. So we thought that there must be an alternative. And as a university, we might not have all answers, but we are trained to question the logic. We are trained to always come up with plan Bs, come up with alternatives, and we tested those options and came up with these online classes after tasking our IT department, composed of UTG products and some who were trained later outside and came and, just young ones and giving their best. Homegrown, UTG products, very proud of them, doing wonders in their work, and we trusted them, and we said this time around we are not waiting for a consultant to come from America, UK or elsewhere. Gambians addressing Gambians' problem. So this is the situation, and UTG must respond, and that's what we've done. And they came up with different options. Some have some financial and other implications and so on. So we look at the best one that can suit our needs. So we went for the G Suites, Google G Suites features with the Google Classroom and other features. So that will help us to really have these interactive classes live, and also that can be recorded, and all the transactions, their communication to be transcribed and all those stuff. And so we thought that this is a very good solution, and we went for that this online and as an alternative. And and we thank the lecturers, yourself and others who really supported the idea and gave your best to the extent that it is working. But we also want to thank government who chip in under the coordination of MOHAS, Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and Ministry of Finance, also intervene to help us really have it have the online classes for free through the GSM network. But UTG management, under the leadership of Professor Fakir Mohammed Anjum, who really set up this task force where you have all these major stakeholders, the students, being represented by their at the highest level by the president.
I want us to elaborate on who and who is part of the task force and why are they being incorporated?
Yeah, well, it's a very diverse task force where you have the students being represented by their president, the staff association by their president, the management also by the different key offices within management and all those stuff. So it is a very participatory.
Do we have stakeholders from outside, say for example the Ministry of Higher Education?
Yeah, we the Ministry of Higher Education was very instrumental in the coordination, because they are the one who later, together with finance, to help us bring the GSM operators around the table for discussion, and where we were supposed to pay for the online classes, they negotiated for us to end up having it for free for the students. So they will chip in also for the megabytes together with the University of the Gambia, and to be able to now give students 1,500 megabytes for their research, individual research. But for the lectures, ended up being free thanks to the intervention of MOHAS and finance, government in general, together with management under the leadership of Professor Fakir Mohammed Anjum.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Gomez, for giving that very wonderful background of the program. Now, turning to you, Mr. President, we understand that the students are very important stakeholders, if not the most important stakeholders, because everything is geared towards meeting your educational needs at the end of the day. How did you become involved with this, and what particular role do you play in it?
Thank you very much. That is quite an essential question. I think I've been involved in the entire process since in the beginning, in the onset. In fact, since the crafting of the initiative, I was part of it. And I am a core member of the task force, like Prof said. I have represented the students there, and I'm very thankful to the task force that on several occasions I was able to drag them to the corner to change decisions that is in the best interest of the students of the university. So I think it has been very consultative since in the beginning, and the students play a core role in the entire process, like I said, because I've been there and I've been given, the voice that the students deserve. So, like I said, since in the onset, it was consultative and it was as well participatory.
Why was it important to have your participation in this? If anything has been achieved, what do you think your participation as a student representative might have been the cause of that?
Yes, my participation in the entire process is very, very important as the liaison and the face of the students. And I think, like you said, the students are the final consumers of this, because if you have the initiative, you have the lecturers to have access to all this, who are they teaching the students. So their existence in the entire process is very fundamental. And my participation there have yielded a lot of results for the students. Which one of them is the megabytes, that is the individual research megabytes. The first agreed megabytes to be given to students was 500 megabytes, but I had to, convince the task force beyond reasonable doubt, that the students need more than 500 megabytes, and after they convincing them, they all adhered and unanimously agreed that, of course, we will extend it to from 500 to 1,500 megabytes. And this 1,500 megabytes, to get it clear, it's for individual research. That is different from the online learning platform, which obviously is free for students in the university. So this is one of the greatest achievements. And not only that, in all meetings, discussions, I am involved, I'm given the role I ought to be given, and I think I'm thankful, and the general student body is also thankful for that.
Thank you, Swami. Prof, let's talk about the infrastructure. We know that there might be so many other institutions who are looking at the university and seeing this to be a very good example. If they want to go about the same process, what needs to be in place as an initial infrastructure that has to be there before you can actually work on this?
Well, our advantage was that we have our ERP system that helps us really, all our timetable and also our transcripts all are all online. So, and students register online. So that process started some time ago, and then also we had the opportunity really to have an IT department, very dynamic one, and they were working on different options, so COVID-19 came to really, stimulate that positive energy that was there, waiting just to be utilized. So we capitalized on that opportunity to make sure that we make good use of those talents that were available, and so then now the issue also is, we have our mailing system, and we have different correspondences with the students. To communicate was very, very easy with the students because we have their contacts. You see, so as I'm talking to you, we have the system to be able to send SMS to the students straight away within a second. Then all of them will get the same message, and so on. So, and then we have our email system also, among other. And then we have the ERP system where they go to the portal and get the info. All these things were there that they can that the students can use, and lecturers also, to make sure that it facilitates the whole process. The other thing also is that prior to this, most of our, 3/4 of our lecturers full-time were already given internet data cards and bundles. There were just some few, especially the returnees, those who came from studies, and the newly hired staff who were not having, and then obviously with the part-timers. So that system was there. So when this thing happened, we knew that we will need internet, and because we want the system we will be using will be different from the MOPSI model, so you go online with internet, and therefore we will need to provide internet for those who do not have, those lecturers who do not have. But we will also need to provide lecturers for the data cards, internet data cards for the part-time lecturers, So even though they are not full-time, but the moment they are teaching for us, we need to give them unlimited internet. We have that info. The other thing also was the students. Now, what to do with the students? Now, we're able, thanks to government's intervention, once again, then we're able to have the lectures, online lectures, for free, just for the configuration with the GSM operators. We provide the info. So the moment you are a registered student of UTG, so you don't have that problem. What we want them to have is, as the president was saying, was also for them to do their research, because there is no time for the library, physical library, and so on and so forth. So they will need to use the e-library, and for that one, they need internet. So that's why we came up with that 1,500 megabytes that will be given to them per month, and for a period of 3 months, so that they can do their research, on their own. And this is using what Claude Germain talks about, the metacognitive strategies, trying to work on other strategies, activities to better understand the subject matter outside the classroom. So these are the things that we put in place, and thanks to management's support and the team, the task force, they were very, very instrumental.
Yeah. So before we come back to discuss the system itself, which we're going to do, you have been involved from the initial stage, you said, and you have been a liaison between the administration and the students. Given that the data is already available on the students and the channels are there to reach them, how easy or difficult was it to mobilize the students to get their information that was necessary to ensure that the system works?
Yeah, it was not difficult to mobilize the students, because the student union have a communication strategy. Of course, the management have theirs as well. They reach out to the students through the university community. Of course, we also reach out to the students through the university community and as well through our social media platforms, so WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. We can always reach out to them. And it was very, successful. Within 3-4 days, all the students were, they were all captured. What made it efficient was that the management was able to send direct SMS to all students. So you realize that even students who don't have the opportunity to have access to internet, we're given the opportunity to have, direct messages in their phones. So it's just a matter of going online and registering your course. And like Prof said, most of the data that the online service need is already with the UTG, because of the portal have given the opportunity, the contacts, the MAT numbers and all that. So the initial, the online platform was just requesting for the student's telephone number. In fact, the student's telephone number were available, but their telephone number of choice, because I might register with a telephone number. Maybe that's my telephone number that I use for the call and SMS service. But when it comes to the internet, I'll choose another number because of the network location of my area. So, that begged for the situation where the university, when we discuss task force, we allow students now to choose the network they want to choose. If they want to choose any of the 3 networks, they can choose, and they will be provided internet to that. That is in fact different from the number that they provide for SMS. So it was very efficient and effective since in the start.
So just to be clear, while you were mobilizing and reaching out to the students, you were collecting certain information from them, especially you mentioned the phone numbers. Why was it important for them to provide their phone numbers?
Thank you very much. It was very important for them to provide phone number of their choice in terms of internet network connectivity, I mean, because that is the numbers that will be used by the task force to send to GSM operators. For example, if students so and so provide QCell, that data will be accumulated and sent to QCell, for example, for them to provide internet and configure them to have free access to the Google Suite, which is the Google Classroom, Google Meet, Google Jamboard, and of course Google Drive. And to Official the same, to GAMCell the same. That's the 3 network in the start. So that was very helpful, and that was why their numbers were retrieved. Even though we had some challenges because some students made some errors when they were entering their data, because the platform also had, so many features. For example, if students enter their number, they can have the opportunity to go and change. For example, if I enter a GAMCell line, I want to change to QCell within the time frame, I can go and change to QCell. So the challenges were some were changing, some, insert numbers, but that is human to err, insert numbers that are not correct, but we're able to reach out to them to correct some of those things.
Very good. So we come back to the system itself. I understand that we're using the Google Suite, including Google Meet, Google Classroom, and so on and so forth. There might have been some alternatives that might have been suggested by some members of the task force. Why did you settle on Google Suite?
Yeah, we thought that Google Suite will help us really attain our objectives based on the situational analysis, the resources that we have. So far, this will be the best so far, because one, we wanted for our lessons to be live, to be interactive. We wanted the students to see the lecturers. We wanted the students to hear what the lecturers were saying. We wanted the students also to participate by asking questions, by challenging whatever is stated. So we also noticed that the Google G should help the lecturer also to record the lesson, the class, so that those who miss the class, they will have the opportunity later to watch that video and understand what transpired. They don't need to be told.
Yeah.
So everything will be there. The second thing is also, even those who attended the class, maybe the lecturer was very fast in his explanation, they can also come back to watch it over and over and better understand the subject matter. So then you have certain features where even the questions and answers can be transcribed by Google. So then later the lecturer will download it and do some editing so that it is really, to ensure that it captures what was really stated, because Google will transcribe what it hears. So then to share it again with the lecturers. Then the other thing also is that feature where the presentation can be, once the lecturer is doing the presentation, maybe let's say PowerPoint, the students out there can see on the screen what is being presented, and whilst you are explaining all these things. So it means it is as if they were in a real classroom, the face-to-face, sort of. Because you see everybody, you see their name. In fact, whoever is speaking, the name appears, so it's different from a class, the normal class where you have many students but you don't know their names. Here, there can be 250, but you know their names, all of them. So when you are addressing a student, you call him by his name. So which is really unique, because the students really feel that he is part and parcel of the student. You will not say, okay, please tell me your name before you explain. You just call the name straight away. So these are some of the features that were there, and it makes life also very easy. You don't need to go anywhere. Stay where you are. Stay in your room.
At the comfort of your own room. Yeah.
So whether you are a lecturer or a student, in your comfort zone, you have the lectures very easily. You don't have any excuse because the transportation problem, or I had a breakdown, things like that. The usual comments, I came late, things like that. This time, you don't have that excuse.
I agree with you. Like I've said, I've interacted with the system, and I can safely say that I enjoy it very much because all of my classes are 8 in the morning. So you can imagine how early you have to get up to go to work. But now I can just wake up and sit in my parlor and have my interaction with the students. And another convenience that I've seen with it is, even for the students, you might have so many students in a class that may not fit in one classroom. The problem that we used to have initially. Now you don't need to separate your class into different groups. You can have one big group because all of us can access at the same time. But again, you can have shy students who are not very comfortable speaking in class. Now in the comfort of their classrooms with their videos turned off, they feel comfortable speaking because they are not pressured to speak to a crowd of people. Now they feel they are alone and they are talking directly to their lecturer. So all of these things that we have experienced so far, I am a big fan of this new system.
It's more participatory and helps people to really take part in the whole process. So yes, it's very.
But technically, though, I know you are not technical experts. But if you have to explain to anyone how this system works technically, is there anyone here who can help with that?
Well, the basic things here is you need to have internet. If you don't have internet, forget it. Okay, that's number one, because then now, what we are doing is you
have to have quality internet.
Yes, quality internet. So that's why we opted to buy these data cards. Very expensive, but then we have no choice. So internet data cards, unlimited, for the lecturer, because we don't want them to start lectures and then later you say, my credit got finished. So we don't want that. So that one was addressed, which is very key. The second one is the students. You don't want to have also students to start lectures and then they say their megabytes are finished, so they cannot continue getting it. So they have to have constant. That's why we negotiated to have this free access to this Google G Suite for the students. But to do that, we need to enter into agreement with these GSM operators, thanks to government once again, so that we send them the students' data, that is their name, their MAN numbers, and also their telephone numbers. Those telephone numbers will be configured by the GSM operators, so that the system will recognize these numbers. So when they now click in, they will now have access without any problem. But remember, if you are not within that network, within that system, you won't be able to have access, for free. You won't have free access.
Yeah.
Well, you can have access, but then you will have to pay to using your megabytes and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But this one, it makes sure that because we are able to provide that data to the GSM operators, they do the synchronization and recognizing now these numbers from the students and allowing them to have free access to the networks. And then in addition to now the megabytes that we would have bought for them for their private resite. And that's the issue. So in essence, what we will need also is the lecturer or the student will need to have either a mobile phone that is a smartphone or a laptop. Because the laptop also, we have the email address. We have the UTG email address, which is a Google, which is a Gmail, address. So which is already configured. So you can get the system through your laptop or through your smartphone.
Okay.
So these are the things that are needed to make sure that you have a functional system.
Yeah. So we're talking about a system that is not cheap at all. So I'm expecting it to need so much resources. Who is sponsoring this program?
Well, this is government and the University of the Gambia, and all in all, as per the figures that we have from our finance department, is around 5.4 million. For all these logistics.
4.5.
Yeah, 5.
5.4 million.
Yeah, 5.4 million.
Okay, that's quite a lot of money. Just coming back to, I know that I am on a page where I get to receive so many complaints.
Yeah.
Some of them are really funny. We're not going to discuss it here. We have, we have those from the older generation who are still struggling to understand. But hopefully
the BBC.
The BBCs. What does BBC mean again?
Born before computer.
Born before computer. I think I've heard that from somewhere. Yeah. But since you have started, what sort of complaints are you receiving from the students, especially?
Yeah, the initial complaint we received from the students was amounted. That is, most of the students, or some of the underprivileged students, complained of not having smartphone. And of course, you have to have access to the internet. And to be able to have access to the internet, you must have a gadget, either a laptop or a tablet or a smartphone. But when these complaints came, we realized that they were genuine complaints. These have to be left out because they don't have a smartphone. It's not a university regulation that you need to have a smartphone to be a student. The regulation is you need to meet the requirements and pay your tuition fee. So if they meet that, all other factors should be secondary. So we take it up with the university management. Myself wrote a position paper, presented, and we were lucky that it was supported. So we opened application for students that are underprivileged. Of course, with the caveat needy, because if you want to open an application for students to just apply telephone.
I want a new phone.
Yes, myself, I will apply. So, so with that, when we send the application to the UTG community, of course, to all our platforms to invite applications from needy students. Of course, this went simultaneously with rigorous background, check, personality assessment, and of course, examining the genuinity in the needy that we put caveat in. So when we did, we received about 27 to 30 applications. In fact, we extended the deadline because the deadline was supposed to be Friday. Because some students called that they were not around. We said we extended to Monday. That was yesterday. So we received it yesterday and we reviewed it. So then initially, in fact, there should be an assessment to say who to give to and who not to give to. But the finance directorate of the university were so considerate, and the management, I was able to convince them with my team, and they approved
provided for
all of them. They will be provided a soft loan of $5,000, and it's now going to be their discretion to go and choose which phone to buy. But it should be a phone that should be able to have, be giving you access to.
So this is not a gift; it's a loan given.
Yeah, it's a soft loan, we call it. The idea is because the university, the students' union have access to all the decision makers, the senate and the governing council. Now, when this is done, of course, it is soft loan for now. What is expected is at the end of the day, it's charged to their outstanding balance. But at the end of the day, the student union is planning to write another position paper that will be presented to the senate to defend why the students, it's no money to be a loan, in fact, but be given to them on free charges. And we hope when that happens, Prof will be in the Senate to help and support us. And if that is done, they will not have to pay. It's going to be free. But you cannot also do that in the beginning. If you say it's for free, you still will have a problem of who is applying and who is not applying.
Who needs
so
it and
who don't need it.
But
exactly.
even as a loan, is there a way in which they are expected to pay?
Yes, that's why I said it is charged on their outstanding balance. The portal is systemized in a way that everyone, what you pay and how much you owe the university is there. So where you have your balance, your outstanding balance, 5,000 is charged on top of that. So now, for example, if you have 15, now your balance in the UT will be 20. That's what you owe the university. So that is how it is ascertained. But how the money will be paid, that was a cynical question that I couldn't answer, but was able to manage with them to tell them, look, they cannot graduate without paying. So since you had the opportunity to give them the opportunity to owe you up to 50,000, it should not be a problem to give them the opportunity to owe you around 5,000 at least. They will be able to pay. If they don't pay, we find a way out, but they will pay. That is if the payment will come on board. Yes.
All right. So what are the challenges?
Yes, another challenge we have, which is in fact the biggest challenge, is access to internet. Of course, we were expecting initially that the Google Suite will be free, but it's important. I'll call you Nyuma here in the class. I'll call you Mom. Okay, it's important for us to identify that this is an initiative, and the entire process is unforeseen and unplanned. So there are certain things you will not be able to realize it until and unless you kickstart it. So when we kickstarted, we realized that the initial agreement that we have with the GSMs was not met halfway. That is free access to the Google Suite. That's the Google platform, in fact, the learning platforms. Of course, students in the beginning were able to have access because they were sent the 1,500 individual research. They were sent that megabytes. So, but as they access the Google Suite, their credits, that's their megabytes, were consumed. So as time goes, as they attend 2-3 classes, their megabytes were exhausted because this is live streaming, and it's not only that, it's also recorded. So it takes a lot of megabytes. So those whose megabytes were completed and still were not able to have access to Google Suite were left out and thus were lost in contact hours. So that was a great challenge. So they were calling from left, right, corner. Ibrahim, classes are on me. I had to be on Prof. We have to be on everyone on the task force. And as we speak right now, I think we are fine. They are now having access to the Google Suite for free, and in fact, those, for example, using QCell, their 1,500 was used for access to the classroom. It's supposed to be for individual research, but when we engage them, in fact, they send across the board 1,500 to all the students. Extra. Yes, even those who don't even use it, they send it for. Some don't have class at the time when this all happened, but they send it again to them. At least to compensate the entire student body.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that all of us who are involved, have had the brunt of these complaints. I remember in my class, students were like, "Madam, we're going to go off very soon because our megabytes is being consumed. What can you do for us?" And I'm like, I'm not the technical person here. We have to talk to Prof. Gomez or somebody about that. But yeah, thank you very much for that. What about from the staff side? What about the BBCs? What complaints are we getting from them?
Yeah, well, the majority of the staff in general were very, IT friendly, so they don't have that problem. But then we had some few cases here. So, but then thank God our IT department was available to really guide them. And the other thing also, and I forgot to mention it, that we did was before we roll it out, we organized there was a document that is guidelines on online classes for students and lecturers. So that you need to go through that document, you read it and understand the different processes. That's the first stage. The second stage was now for those who find it difficult to read and so on. It's not supposed to be the case in an academic setup, but at least to have it more, user friendly. So IT department produced videos. We have two sets of videos again, one for the students to show them how to register, how to go online and all those stuff. Then you have also the lecturers. Then for the lecturers, there was different, there were a series of trainings that were organized for them. Tutorials, yes, online and all those stuff. To explain, and they were asking questions. The IT department was there, available to explain all these things. Then from there also there was a video that was generated from there, that was shared among the staff for them also to go through, so that even if you don't know. After reading the document that was produced, you still find it difficult to do it. During the training, you'll be able to now overcome some of the challenges. That's what that was done. In addition to all these things, they were also having tutorials for some of the those colleagues who were having challenges, but just a few of them, and just to put them through, and now all of them are, enjoying it.
I agree. I'm aware of some of the processes that were ongoing as well. I remember IT staffs have been included in WhatsApp groups across the university, so that anyone who has individual challenges will channel it through them and they will come to your aid. And I remember even you inviting people to come and visit you directly so that you can show them how to go about it. So all of those things are commendable. But also in terms of infrastructure, lecturers who were without internet at the time were called to provide their phone numbers, and they were given data cards and stuff so that they can easily do this.
Yes, because the if lecturers do not have internet, they cannot have lectures. So, and then now we reach a level where it's not just for us to provide them internet, but they need to determine the network they want. We are not the one to tell them which network they will go to. It depends on their locality, whether there's a strong network there, and which GSM really will respond to their needs. They will tell us, and then we provide that. So that in essence, we made it very participatory, so that somebody would not come and say, I was given this data card, internet data card, but it's not working there. So we may make sure that everybody is given the opportunity to tell us which GSM operator
works for you.
Yes, works for you. And then the university will provide not only the internet data card, but also the dongle.
Okay.
Yes, so ready-made. Once you get it, it's good to go.
Yeah. So we are 2 weeks into the program. Are we still receiving those kind of complaints, or they have minimized?
Yeah, we still have, especially from the students, we still having some challenges with some of them, and we are addressing them. Because remember, we are running more than 800 courses per week. More than 800 lectures are going on per week. And also serving more 6,084 students. In every week, all these people need to go to class. All these 6,084 students, you need to give them. You have to ensure that they have internet. and they are having it for more than 800 courses. So this is not a small job, you know. And the lecturers also, more than 300 lecturers having to give them internet data cards and dongles. So it's a lot. The machinery is a very heavy machinery. Okay, but then yes, we react to the situations. We always try to have plan Bs, always as we you know, progress, because we have you know, a very dynamic team, you know, that are really coming up with different ideas, so that you know, we anticipate. We always have whatever we do, we have plan B. So if this one fails, we activate the other one. So when we interact with people, stakeholders outside, there's always a plan B. Because you see, we cannot afford to fail. That's the issue. This is the first time in the history of the University of the Gambia we are rolling out this type of online project. We must succeed. There's no room for failure, and I keep on telling the students, development cannot be postponed. It is now, and it's the sum total of our individual contributions. Here, the students, the lecturers, management, government, all put together, joining hands, stakeholders, the GSM operators, all coming together. Hey, we can move mountains if we all work in unison, and that's what we are calling for. For everybody to come, and yes, we must find alternatives. That yes, we cannot be at the receiving end, corona or no corona. We must succeed. We must progress, and the university is tasked to overcome challenges. If we cannot overcome this, then it's better we close down. You know, when we are faced with all these challenges, we are called to propose alternatives. That's the light must emerge from a university, because that's the center of excellence. And our students, our lecturers, hey, you see, they're doing good.
We are embracing it.
They are doing
well,
good.
I guess, yeah.
And we are very, very proud of them.
Very good. But as far as assessment is concerned, though, I know it's working very well for lectures, especially for those of us in the social sciences. We have had complaints about people who have to do practicals, for example, or who have to use spreadsheets and so on and so forth, needing extra resources or extra materials to be able to present their lectures. What are some of the challenges that come from those who have to do practicals or those who have to use spreadsheets? And how did you respond to those?
Well, there's some who are using certain features within the Google G Suite, especially those in the calculation, and they are really able to use the IT without any difficulty. Then they're using Jamboard, and but also others, can be provided whiteboards that they can use also individually. So in their different houses for their lectures, whenever they are using. By the way, we will collect everything at the end of when Corona is over. But then we are cognizant of the fact that there are certain things, especially the certain courses that need some practicals. Those ones are we're postponing some of those practicals until later. Then they will do that in the lab, and but then the theoretical aspect will be addressed now. So, and then for the exam, since this is the first time, yes, we want to be very innovative. We want to take risk and all those stuff, but then there's a limit to everything. So we want for this time around to make sure that the exam is not online. Lectures are online, but the exams will be face-to-face basis on campus around end of June, early July, with the hope that by that time things would have come to normalcy, and we'll recall all the students to come and have their exams.
Yeah. So what sort of assessment can happen online?
Well, the assessment that they can have, for instance, you can give normally even without this COVID-19, we used to give students assignments. Yeah. So they sit and do it and then submit essays and all those stuff, you know, reflection papers here and there. So, but then for this type of program we are saying the continuous assessment cannot be more than 25%. The exam will be 75%. Okay. Yes. For those who will be doing the, you know, if not, that's the minimum.
I did not get that memo.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's 25% online and 75% is for the
exam.
Yeah,
there is continuous assessment that we'll be doing. Students sending you, we give them an essay, you know, type assignment. They do it, they send it to you and all those stuff. Then that one, and other type of continuous assessment that you will be having is it cannot be more than 25%. Okay. But then the exam, that one, you know, will be 75%. Okay. So that's the situation. But then we have classes also that are beyond 75%, 75 students that have more than 75 students. Those ones, you know, will go straight for exam because they have. If you have a class of you know 150 or 200, so having to organize series of essays on this, it will be a bit difficult and so on. So these are some of the things that we've done, but we want to make sure that the quality is not compromised. That's why we want it to be face-to-face for students to come and have it on campus. Yeah.
So hopefully COVID-19 will be over before June.
We hope
but
so.
God forbid it doesn't. Is there an alternative for exam? Are we looking for suspending the entire semester until next semester, or?
You know, remember we told you that we have different options. We always have plan Bs. You know, we have a possibility to have online exams. You know, with the other universities in the West. You know, we are in contact with some of our colleagues in Europe and in America. They are doing everything online. So they're even including the exams. So, but for us, we are yet to invoke that. That's our, you know, our plan B. But that is when really the issue cannot be addressed. But we have even, in fact, that will be our plan C roughly. Okay. Because our plan B will be still on campus, but differently. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Plan A, plan B will be face to face. Okay. So
and plan C is online.
Yes.
Okay. So let's come
just
back
to tell you that at the end of the day, we are not really for the time being really keen for the exam having it online. Okay. Because we want to be sure that the person doing the exam, especially the calculation courses, you know, is the real student, not being assisted by anybody.
For quality control purposes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes so much sense. So far, what has been your assessment of the entire program? It is new. There are going to be so many challenges, and as we progress, you continue to face these challenges and address them. But what have you really learned from it? What has been your assessment?
Well, the major issue was the response of the stakeholders and especially the GSM operators. Well, it is clear that you know, one of them right at the beginning, you know, opened the gates for the students. You know, as he rightly said, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That was, you know, issue. The others had issues, but then the other one ended up, you know, addressing the problem very quickly. And unfortunately, we had for the whole week had issues with the other one. So that was some of the challenges. And you know, with students, you know, the students are very powerful. So you know, so they will be calling you, you know, anytime, early morning up to night time, you know. So even though we say after working hours don't call, but
they call.
So these are, you know, so at the end of the day, during the period, so with your family, you know, it's not that things are not that okay, so because always busy with the work, include inside your house to some extent, you continue the work and so on and so forth. So these are some of the major challenges that we are facing. But one thing that is very important that we have observed, listening to some of my colleagues, lecturers, and so on, is that corona or no corona, life has changed. Lecturers will no longer teach, the same thing again. Their life has changed, and they will not be teaching the way they were teaching, and the methodology will change, the approach will change, because there's the belief that whether we tell them or not, whether we provide it or not, some were necessarily going to include IT, that is technology in their teaching, because this has given us the opportunity to look at the different features, and it has made lecturers, more proactive, and even some of the students also. You see, they derive pleasure, because these are instruments that they tend to use in normal times without any problem. Now you are telling them, use the same instruments for the job. Some will be using their mobile phone here and there for,
24/7.
But this time around, they will be enjoying it. They'll be enjoying it, but then still teaching for the lecturers, or learning for the students. So it is really very very important, and we haven't reached the conclusion. The task force will come up with some recommendations to management and stakeholders, but it is clear that post COVID-19 is going to create a new mode of delivery at the University of the Gambia, that we will be having some programs that will be completely online, and using technology and other features that we're going to have. And then also, even some of our people that we have coming from outside, visiting professors and so on, where we spend a lot of money for their air tickets and all those stuff. There's likely that a good number of them will be, will be staying where they are in America, in UK, France, Sweden, and wherever.
Visiting lecturers.
Yes, and then in their own universities, delivering lectures here at the University of Gambia, thanks to technology. And this is the infrastructure. We are thinking of a new setup, a new IT infrastructure within the university after this COVID-19.
That will replace the Google Suite.
Not only replace, but even to help run some of these distance learning programs, because that's what we are heading to. So because it can help us really diversify our methods of teaching, but also maximize the potentials that this technology is offering to us.
So in other words, teaching will never be the same again at UT.
It will never be the same again, I can assure you.
And I can also imagine the opportunity this presents to quality controllers. Are they involved, and if so, how are they involved in monitoring quality within and how the system is being used? We know that we used to have some other methods by which quality is being controlled, especially in the manner and ways in which lecturers deliver or do their assessment and stuff. What is the new form of quality control?
They can tell you first, just before the quality aspect. For instance, this internet data cards is permanent. After the post, COVID-19, we will not come back and retrieve them from our full-time lecturers. Obviously, from the part-time lecturers, yes, we will get them back, because this is taxpayers' money. So this is the situation. So, but then, talking about quality, there's a document that was prepared by the Quality Assurance Department and later, approved by the task force on this, modes of teaching and ensuring that quality is assured, and we make sure that we follow different processes that are of best practice. So we will be evaluating. Students will be evaluating all the lecturers. And this time around, the evaluation will be done online. We are revamping our ERP system. We've already done that, agreed, and everything is signed and with the service provider for that. So to the extent that this time around, the students, before they have access to their results, they must fill the online evaluation form of a particular course, all the courses that they did. So if they did a course with Prof. Gomez and so on, they have to now evaluate him so that the system knows what went wrong. It's not for witch hunting, obviously, but at the end of the day, it helps the system to know what the students are saying. And it's anonymous. They won't write their names, and nobody will know who wrote what and so on. Because at the end of the day now, for the first time now, our Quality and Assurance Directorate will not have to sit down and be computing, typing, doing it manually, all the different forms from students. No, you just click the button and the system will give you the whole result and about a particular course, how the students evaluated it, what were the strengths, what were the challenges, and all those stuff. So that the management can engage that particular lecturer to sit up, to make adjustment, and so that we respond to the needs and demands of our clients to some extent, that is the students. Because people need to remember, we are called to serve. The salary that we use is based on taxpayers' money. So when we receive that salary, we need to earn it. And therefore, we need to give back by giving the quality that is expected of us. So quality service. And therefore, this evaluation helps to really ensure that everybody is following. And those who have challenges, we know what to do to help them. You see, to make adjustment. Maybe they have some issues in a particular area. Once that one is identified, because the evaluation form from the students will help detect where the lapses are, and we engage that lecturer or those lecturers to really make the necessary adjustment.
Yeah. So you've said that it's not going to be a witch hunt, the evaluation.
Yes.
But what do you have to say to, say, for example, lecturers who may be reluctant to launch this program because they feel they are not the only persons accessing the system? They might be watched by quality controllers.
No, but remember, for the evaluation is not done by the lecturer. The lecturer will not have any.
I understand. I mean, even by utilizing the program.
Yeah, but you see, this is best practice.
Yeah.
Go to any university, serious university. Let me put it that way. Go to any serious university of the world. Students evaluate, lecturers evaluate programs at the end of the day. So we cannot use taxpayers' money. Look at somebody out there would have loved to get money to buy medicine or do something, or for the system to buy a particular product for him or her to save his life. But because some of us are in the system and they have to now divide the resources, and I am being paid for to do that, and instead of giving it to that person, and I ended up misbehaving, I ended up not serving, I ended up doing something else, yet using that resource, those resources that were meant for the common good. At the end of the day, whether you are at UTG or in your remote area somewhere, we are all called to serve. Remember in the national anthem, common good, for the interest of the common good. So this is it. Whether you are a lecturer or a student, we are all called to, yes, make sure that we do things the right way. Once again, it's not for witch hunt. We just we do the right thing, and then at the end of the day, quality assurance will come up with the report, and this one is from the system. They click the button and the results will come out to know what the students are saying. And you know, the students, this is anonymous, they are not paying you. You see, the other thing also, people think that, you know, we are pampering the students here and there. You can give a student an A+. You can give a student an A+. But if you do not perform, that student will later come back and reveal the whole issue to the whole world. You can give a student an F, and the person to know very well that they deserve that F. They will still respect you. So it's not about you know, trying to pamper students or do otherwise. It's about ensuring that there is quality, that the people follow standards, that people follow best practice, and taking into account that the little you know, that we have is coming from taxpayers, and therefore that money must be judiciously, and I underline, judiciously utilized, because a lot of people out there would have loved to have access to these resources to address some of their problems. So if we are lucky to be given this opportunity, we need to give back. So this is, yes.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I think,
and the majority of our people, our colleagues are doing that. You know, we don't have that that problem.
True.
You know, so but we just have to make sure that we follow practice.
A lot of us are also excited about. Evaluations are also even good for the lecturers, because that's how, you know, I remember when I started my first semester, I was pressuring Mariam. I said, let me see my evaluation, because that's how you know where you need to improve as well. So it goes both ways. We should not see it as a witch hunt. I just want to, I'm being reminded that we have very little time left, but I just want to turn back to you now. Prof is telling us that the university is considering this to be a permanent infrastructure, and people like me are very excited about that as well. But the resources that are available now may not be available in the future. For example, the students may not have the free access, or they may not have the 1,500 megabytes in the future. Hopefully the university is going to still come onto that. But how do you expect this to work in the future in the absence of all those resources?
Yes, well, since the beginning of this initiative, we've always have one belief that the student will always buy the idea if the infrastructure is provided for them. So, of course, Prof said that I know at the back of his mind is that students will be provided internet. If the university is to launch an online, you know, platform which the students are in support of, I need to make this very clear. I have not seen any student who is against this initiative. All the students are in support, and they all conform to anything the task force and the student union put to them. And I implore and challenge the university and the studentship to, you know, continue the initiative, like Prof said, even after the corona. You know, they said sometimes for us to be innovative, we must be frustrated and we must be curious as well, and that is what brought about this. So to continue this is very simple. Just make sure that the students are provided the platform, one. Make sure that the students have the infrastructure that is needed to access the platform, and make sure that the students are involved, which is very important. And I want to believe why we are counting these successes are because the students were involved since the beginning. There have been zero gap between the students and the lecturers and the task force. The students will tell me this and that and that. The following day, it is going to be on the task force page, and it will be discussed exhaustively, and a decision will be reached. But since the students are the end users, if they are detached from the initiative and the decision making, of course there will be some hitches here and there. But if you include them like Prof and the task force did, not only include them, but give them relevance and make them feel the sense of ownership, you know, allow them to make decisions and give them the opportunity, of course it is going to go the higher height. And you know how the students cooperate, even though there are hitches, some students are left out, but even though though they are left out, they are still, with the belief that this can go, to the high height, and they are supporting. So I will not be, grateful if I don't thank the general students of the University of the Gambia. Of course, I have to thank the university management and all the stakeholders that are involved, but particularly the students for supporting the initiative and taking the lead.
Yeah. I also want to speak on behalf of the lecturers to say that we equally have been very much involved, even though we are afar. We have had our platforms, the UTG email platform, the WhatsApp platforms being utilized where we can send in questions and we can voice our challenges, and they are being responded to as quickly as possible. And again, thanks to your dynamism as the leader of the task force, there's nothing less that we can expect from you. I just wanted to quickly summarize that the university has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns by ensuring that lectures continues by utilizing an online platform through Google Suites, and so many infrastructure, so many resources have been pumped into this program to ensure that lectures continue. And there have been very few challenges, but thank God that we have a very strong task force, including the students, leadership, the staff, both at the management and also at the academic level, involved and responding to these challenges as we move on. Thank you, Professor Gomez, for having you here today with us. I would like to have your final remarks, since you have given your final remarks. Thank you also, Mr. President Ibrahim El Damfa, for joining us. Before we wrap this up, your final remarks, Professor
Well,
Gomez.
I would like to thank you very much and for the quality of work that you are doing, and thank also Kerr Fatou, Fatou self and the team. Very, very pleased for the opportunity given to us to communicate with the rest of brothers and sisters out there to really understand what is going on and really support. We want to thank government in general, under the coordination of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and also Ministry of Finance, but also the university management, Professor Fakir Mohammed Anjum, really gave us all the support. The President will attest to that, where, everybody is allowed to come and share his views. So that platform ended up being very participatory. That helped us to really avoid some of the small challenges that we would have encountered here and there. But because everybody right at the beginning is involved, it helps to accelerate the process. And we believe that Gambians, when they come together, they can move mountains. And here too, the fact that the Gambians who are able to now come up with these solutions as alternative, without waiting for Godot, waiting for solutions to come from outside, waiting for manners to come down from heaven. This is a lesson, and I hope we will learn from this and then reposition ourselves that we have no time to waste, that we have this country and that we have to develop it, and wherever we are, we need to make good use of the little resources that are at our disposal to really put the development agenda ahead. And, that's what is expected of all of us. And, we thank God also that you people are doing wonders, really helping in the communication. So bravo to your team and Kerr Fatou. May you continue to grow and have a very, big, television and, and compete with the CNN and the BBCs and so on. So it is possible.
We say amen to that.
Amen. And let's continue dreaming. And thank you very much.
Thank you. So here is where we draw the curtains. Again, I thank my guest, Professor Pierre Gomez, who is the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences and also the head of the task force. We thank you also, Mr. President Ibrahim El Damfa, finally a management student at the School of Business and Public Administration, also the Student Union President. And again, thank you to the viewership, and until we come your way again, goodbye.
Have you run out of cash power? Do you want to transfer funds to your family Or do you want salary advance without coming to the bank? Your banking services have just been brought to you on your mobile phone. Download and install from your App Store or Google Play Trust Bank's mobile app. Simply search for TBL mobile app and follow the instructions. You can access the following services: funds transfer, cash power purchase, forex rates enquiries, mobile airtime top-up, mini statement, balance enquiry. TBL app is the only app that allows you to take salary advance and many more. You can also interact with your customers using our USSD code by dialing *533#. At Trust Bank, we bring innovation that is useful to you, our valued customer. With our mobile app and USSD, banking is at your fingertips. Trust Bank Limited, proudly Gambian.
Better and stronger as the sole ground operator at the Banjul International Airport. With an expansion in travel services, customers are assured of GIA's capacity to cater for all their travel needs, provided by professional, experienced, and ever-smiling staff. GIA's Hajj package and services, by far the best in the country, give the customers the opportunity for a memorable Hajj experience. For a more efficient cargo services, GIA means business as it launches its new multi-million-dollar ultra-modern cargo complex to revitalize and stimulate air transport. GIA, the pride of the Gambia.
Déedéet waay ay waru la naaj waaye xam naa ne bu paree rek ma kontaan.
Sama secret mooy ami tamaate jeeg balaa jonge day mun waañam ami tamaate soo ko defee ci sa tooga da koy xonkal cuur jeeg bu koy jëfandikoo sa jëkkër du la musa mere.
Nijaay waaw baala ma tey dama naa gis añ bi. Séeri xiif naa de. waaye léegi ma pare topp suma lii bi maa ngi dem yegg kaay. waaw topp suma gannaaw. loolu de laa bëgg a dégg.
Faro Company mi ñu indil bébé Mariam moo ñu indil ami tamaate.
sa benn cin xonq na. ami tamaate de moo si jaar. ami tamaate. waaw ami tamaate. moo ko xonqal nii. cam. waaw bis ni ki tey. waaw dee naa la ami tamaate.
doomi ndey ami tamaate bi nag léegi ku ko bëgg nag nooy def nag mu koy am. bépp marché boo dugga bitik supermarket table yi bépp foo dugga si biir réew mi di nga am ami tamaate.
Salut Pro Beats.
cey kër gi nag xam ngeen ko di boutique buñ leen indil fii ci réew mi mu nekk fan ca poori Palmarima dama ne jëkkër ak jabar ànd ak seen doom ba dugg ca biir jënd ba baax waaye looy foog ne dafa seer déedéet kër gaa ngi nii kër gi moom lu baax rek la leen amal loo soxla rek am na ci biir kër gi néeg waañ yëpp am na ci biir kër gi cabinet yëpp am na ci kër gi waay kër gi daal boo duggee ca biir loo waral ree bi ree ji lu ko waral yomb gaa waral ree gi dafa yomb lool moo tax ngay ree kër gaa ngi nii dara seero fi Beko di brand boo xam ne indi lañ leen ko fii ci réewi Gambia kana ko indi kër gi waaye itamit pour dem ci office rek ñu kóot la ba nga ne nekk tay la ba nga ne nag office furniture dañu am design boo xam ne dañ la koy defal ba mu mit nag sa corporate image brand dama ne kër gi daal moo ëpp lépp kër gi daal moo am lépp kër gi daal lépp loo soxla moo lu waral ree ji yomb jee tax ngay ree du waxoon naa la ko fii dara seeru fi yaa ngi dem ba baay di nga dellu si waat kër gi di nga dellu si waat ci kër gi